I was surprised to get this request. For those of you who didn't know me as Chaos Kyun, Yuno Gasai was a crutch for me for 2 years before I found my ultimate cure in a similar girl. Though I try not to bring either one up too often because I've worried some friends. Yuno Gasai PL 6. I don't think there's any question what her primary motive is, but her complications are a little more complex. I won't list her mental issues, that's more part of role-playing than an actual complication. The one weakness all the diary users share is that should their future diary be destroyed or otherwise excessively damaged, so too its user is destroyed instantly. Yuno in particular has secrets that just plain shouldn't come to light, though an investigation check could ruin that. And the last one is optional. If the focus of your campaign is the roleplay future diary, then there is no need for this complication. But in the event that your party involves one diary user, one Mushroom Kingdom plumber, Ronald McDonald, and heaven forbid an actual superhero, then your party will likely get dragged into the diary user's fights. This could challenge the relationship between player characters. Or if the party chooses to go after the other diary users as a whole, this could lead the general public to treat the party with disdain, since we've gone from heroically arresting people to committing murder. If the opposing diary users aren't known to be criminals, this could earn your players an even worse reputation, or get them labeled as villains. Of course, all of that is dependent on if the diary user in your party is open with the other players, and how stealthy your diary user and the other players are. Alternatively, since this is a superhero setting, a player with Inventor or Ritualist might come up with a way to save Deus Ex Machina's life. Something to keep in mind when attempting to game master all this. Now, I've been babbling about diary users in general, just in case it gives someone an epiphany, so let's get back to Yuno herself. Anyone with Google Image can figure out real quick that she's an accomplished serial killer, but keep in mind she's also a 14-year-old girl, 15 due to a time thing, but either way, she's strong but not ready for high school football. Fast, but there's no reason to believe that she's for the track team either. Yukiteru thought of her as intelligent too on one of the first episodes, though we normally only get to see her capacity for tactics. Awareness, stamina, and fighting should be her highest stats. How many times did she pick up on things no one else in the room did? And was it episode 2 or 3 she casually jumped out of a second-story window to come to Yukiteru's aid? Dexterity is the only thing that should be at 0, because really, dexterity for what? She's about brute force, not finesse. If you want to reallocate points into anything, put it in Fortitude. She lives in a house with no AC, no heating, and dead bodies, and she shows no signs of physical sickness. Amazing, isn't it? Now let's talk about why your jaw is on the floor. 20 will. Think about it. Seduction checks? Won't work. Intimidation? The idea harm might come to Yukiteru is scarier. Taunts? She's as good at filtering out unnecessary information as I am. I almost gave her immunity to emotional effects entirely, but that didn't seem right. And we can't give her will immunity altogether, she's still a human. It's possible to mind control her, but have fun breaking through her cosmic will first. And this is something I personally admire about her. She was locked in a cage by her parents, and later watched him die. Not to mention the future diary game itself, and her resolve only grew through it all. I can't think of anything that can crack such refined will. Alright, now this is the part you've been waiting for, the Diary of Future Love. Precognition, of course, limited to events surrounding Yukiteru. Uncontrollable, we don't get a say in when we get our messages, and of course removable. Kind of impressive that one of her greatest tools is only 1 point. But more importantly, this is a requirement if you decide your character is a diary user. Your diary must have a limit, be it a number of uses per day, such as the case with Reisuke Hojo, or limited to certain subjects like all the others. If you want to recreate Kamado Ushieda, then you must add extends only to others. Yuno has proven to be an impressive cook, but what she really needs is a high rank in close combat using knives, axes, katanas, things that allow her to have fun and be herself. She's also proven to have a natural talent for guns, having shot one guy in the face at very close range but didn't quite succeed in killing him. No, I'm not proud to admit that I leaned on her for 2 years. Intimidation! She left an impression on a terrorist that attacked her school, and she wasn't even the one to poke her eye out. Some who are familiar with Yuno might even feel the need to reallocate points to boost this further. Attractive too, she's stated to be the desire of every boy in her school who can't see past her deception checks. Equipment 1, it should be noted that the removable precognition and the cell phone are linked together. It's a modification to the memo pad app on her cell phone. Luck 1, it is highly likely she'll feel the need to modify a scene so that she has access to her knife, axe, something that pairs well with her close combat skill. Game Masters, if one of your players is a diary user, and they win the future diary game, but the campaign isn't finished yet, the reward isn't just a PowerPoint, it isn't a hero point, it's a whole new character sheet, which includes all sorts of goodies. Now, canonically speaking, the reward is supposed to be becoming God. However, in the final battle, Yukiteru was successfully able to dodge Yuno's God mode and even pin her down, though it is worth noting that both sides had an ally. We can explain this by assuming that the victor of the future diary game is not fully acquainted with their newfound abilities and are therefore limited. With all that in mind, this is the list I came up with, boosting the future diary winner up a whole 8 ranks. In the case of Yuno Gasai, she'd be bumped up to PL 14. If by chance your diary user already has one of these powers and that power isn't removable, treat this as a boost to that player's power, or otherwise reallocate the points into something appropriate, probably variable. The player may travel between their own dimension and any alternate timeline made by making a new timeline after using the time travel feature. They may also travel through and survive in space, but they're not quite up to traveling outside their solar system yet. They may create literally any non-living thing they can think of, though a cosmic tier intelligence check may allow them to make a living thing as a power stunt. Illusions. This was a regular form of communication with Deus Ex Machina and whoever else stood in his imaginary throne room. The voices of the players likely traveling through Deus's mind to reach whoever else was present, thereby allowing group communication, hence the multi-attack. This was also necessary for Yukiteru's dream world. Your inherited HQ comes with a library of past events, thereby serving as a post-cognition, and for no points at all, you get the loyalty of Murmur. I wouldn't charge points for her. She's kind of a guiding NPC up until someone wins the future diary game, and should therefore be treated as a separate character entirely. Murmur will be necessary to aid the winning diary user in their new complication, responsibility. Your player has taken up the role of your world's god, and it should be treated as a full-time job, and the other player should be invested in that player making their quota. If not, the universe starts to fall apart. Have fun!